على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه وبعد. So it pleases me to connect with my Salafi brothers and sisters there in Nigeria to discuss this extremely important topic, that is the importance of brotherhood and sisterhood in establishing the Sunnah. For from that which is known is that from the fundamental principles of the Deen of Islam is the affair of unity. But unity, brotherhood, it is based upon what? It is based upon the Kitab, Sunnah, ala fahm salaf, not just unity for the sake of unity. Rather, we come together based upon these affairs, the book, the Sunnah, upon the understanding of the Salaf of this Ummah. And for this reason, you find that many of the legislations of Al-Islam, they are legislations that are indicative of that unity and that togetherness which the Muslims have one for another. For this reason, we find things within the Deen of Islam such as Salah, Jama'ah, or congregational prayer. Muslims coming together, bowing, prostrating in one place at the same time, in unison, worshiping Allah 𝗘𝗏𝗏𝗍𝗏. We find things within the Deen of Islam such as Mādā, such as Hajj. Such as Hajj and Umrah. We find the Muslims coming together, performing Hajj and Umrah, coming to one place, dressed the same, performing the same acts of worship at the same time. We find as well things within the Deen of Islam, such as fasting in the month of Ramadan, all of the Muslims around the world participating in a tremendous act of worship. Why is this? This is for the sake of unity and the togetherness of the Muslims. The Messenger of Allah ﷺ, he said, لَوْ كُنْتُ مُتَخِذًا خَلِيلًا لَاتَّخَذْتُ أَبَا بَكْرٍ خَلِيلًا وَلَكِنْ صَاحِبِي وَأَخِي. This has come in the Sahih of Imam al-Bukhari, indicating the importance of the affair of brotherhood and the Deen of Islam. He said, if I were to take a Khalil amongst the people, I would take Abu Bakr as my Khalil. However, he is my companion and he is my brother. وفي رواية, in another narration, he said, صلى الله عليه وسلم, لو كنت متخذا خليلا لاتخذته خليلا لكن أخوة الإسلام أفضل. If I were to take a Khalil amongst the people, I would have taken him as my Khalil. However, the brotherhood of Islam is afdal. It is better. It is better. The ulama, they extract from this narration, from them Ibn Rajab, he mentions in his Fath al-Bari that in relation to relationships between the Creator and the creation, then the highest level of that is khulla, that of being a Khalil of Allah 𝗘𝗏𝗏𝗍𝗏. But when it comes down to relationships between the creation and the creation, then the brotherhood of Islam is the highest level of that. So if it comes down to a relationship that is based upon street ties, neighborhood ties, family ties, whatever the case may be, the ukhuwat al-Islam afdal. The brotherhood of Islam is afdal, because the ukhuwat al-Islamiyya, it is an ukhuwat that is imaniyya. It is an ukhuwat that is based upon iman. For this reason, Allah Ta'ala mentioned inside of his book, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. Indeed, the believers are nothing less than brothers. Who did he describe with his characteristics? The believers, those who have iman. But their brotherhood is based upon iman. And therefore, anything that will nurture this brotherhood, this sisterhood, anything that will solidify it, anything that will keep it firmly fixed and in place, Islam commands with that. And anything that will harm it, will pick it apart, and will destroy it, Islam prohibits that affair with the strongest possible prohibition. And the text of the Book of Allah And the Sunnah of the Messenger of Allah alayhi are filled up with examples of this. From that, there is the statement of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, which comes in the Sahih of Imam Muslim on the authority of Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, that he said, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا تحاسدوا ولا تناجشوا ولا تباغضوا ولا تدابروا ولا يبيع بعضكم على بيع بعض وكونوا عباد الله إخوانا. المسلم أخو المسلم لا يظلم ولا يخذل ولا يكذب ولا يحقر. التقوى ها هنا، ويشير إلى صدره 3 مرات، بحسب امرئ من الشر أن يحقر أخاه مسلم. كل المسلم على المسلم حرام، دمه وماله وعرضه. This narration, it mentions that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, لا تحاسدوا, do not have hasad one for the other. Al-hasad, it is a disease of the heart. It's envy, it is a disease of the heart. And hasad has been described or defined by the ulama as tamanni zawal al-ni'ma an al-mahsud, wishing for the removal of a blessing from the one that you envy. The removal of a blessing from the one that you envy. So whether the individual wants the blessing to be removed from the one that he envies and transferred to himself, or he doesn't even want it for himself, he just doesn't want that person to have it. And this is worse. This is a disease of the heart, and it harms the brotherhood. So therefore the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has prohibited this matter. He said, وَلَا تَدَابَرُوا, and likewise don't turn your backs on each other. Do not turn your backs on one another, because it is not permissible for the Muslim to boycott his brother or boycott his sister for more than 3 days. And this is as it relates to personal issues that may arise between the Muslims. Now, a personal issue connected to the affairs of his dunya. But if it is an affair of Deen, and a person becomes an innovator and a matter of aqidah, manhaj, and the likes of this, Imam al-Baghawi, he mentions in Sharh Sunnah, they're boycotting the people of bid'ah and boycotting the people of open sins is ongoing until they repent. It's ongoing until they repent. Meaning you can go beyond 3 days. But in personal issues between you and your brother, between you and your sister, it is not permissible to let that extend beyond 3 days. That's the max. All right, but the Muslim should rush to reconcile with his brother or with his sister or with her sister. Now, so we find this affair of turning one's back on one another to be prohibited. Why? Because it harms the brotherhood. He said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَلَا يَبِعْ بَعْضُكُمْ عَلَى بَيْعِ بَعْضٍ عَفْوًا وَلَا تَبَاغَضُوا وَلَا تَدَابَرُوا. And don't hate one another. Don't have mutual hatred for one another. And this likewise is a disease of the heart. How do we say it is a disease? Of why do we refer to it as a disease? Because the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, دَبَّ إِلَيْكُمْ دَاءُ الْأُمَّمِ قَبْلِكُمْ الْحَسَدُ وَالْبَغْضَاءُ. Creeping towards you is the disease that afflicted the nation that came before you. Al-Hasad wal-Baghdha, having envy as well as Baghdha, and having hatred one for another. Al-Baghdha here haliqa. He said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the Baghdha, it is something which shaves. لا أقول تحلق الشعر ولكن تحلق الدين. I'm not saying that it shaves one's hair, but rather it shaves one's religion. It shaves your religion. Then he said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَالَّذِي نَفْسِ بِيَدِهِ. He said, by he in whose hands is my soul. Or قال وَالَّذِي نَفْسِ مُحَمَّدٍ بِيَدِهِ. Or he said in another narration, by he in whose hands is the soul of Muhammad, لا تدخلوا الجنة حتى تؤمنوا. You will not enter paradise until you believe. ولا تؤمنوا حتى تحابوا. And you will not believe until you love one another. أفلا أنبئكم بما يثبت ذلك لكم أفشوا السلام بينكم. Then he said, shall I not inform you of something which, if you do it, it will solidify this affair for you. Meaning this affair of love one for another. The love that should be between the Muslim brothers, the Muslim sisters. Shall I not inform you of what will solidify that love for you? Afshu as-salam bainakum. Spread the salams to each other. Give the salams to your brothers, your sisters. Some of the people, they treat the salams as though it's like saying, what's up? Hey, how's it going? Meaning that some of the people, they say, bilisan halihim, that I'm not going to give salams to him until he gives salams to me first. I'm not going to give salams to her until she gives salams to me first. Wallahu musta'an. Rather, afshu as-salam bainakum. Spread the salams between yourselves. It is something which will solidify that love between the brothers and between the sisters. Because the salam is a dua. In reality, it is a dua that you're making for your Muslim brother or your Muslim sister. But then he mentioned, وَلَا يَبِيَ بَعْضُكُمْ عَلَى بَيْعِ بَعْضٍ, and do not undercut one another in your business transactions. Don't try to undercut each other. In an ideal Muslim society where you have Muslim merchants, male and female, you're each trying to do your business. Don't undercut each other. You see your brother engaging in a business transaction. Don't come from the side and say, hey, I see you attempting to purchase something, and the brother, he offered to sell you it, but I have it for cheaper. No, don't undercut one another in your business transaction. What will that do? What will that do to the heart of a Muslim who he finds that he's simply trying to support himself and his family, but when he does that, this other Muslim brother comes and seeks to undercut him in his business transaction? What will that do to his heart? And what will that do to the brotherhood? So don't do this. It's been prohibited. He said, وَكُونُوا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ إِخْوَانًا. كُونُوا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ إِخْوَانًا. And be, O slaves of Allah, brothers. Be brothers. Indicating that all of these things that he mentioned up to this point, whether it is this tahasud, having mutual envy, or tanajush, this type of swindling transaction, if you will, وَلَا تَبَاغُضْ, and likewise having mutual hatred, and tadabur, turning one's back, and all of that that has been mentioned up to this point has an effect upon the brotherhood. How do we know? Because he said thereafter, after prohibiting all of these matters, وَكُونُوا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ إِخْوَانًا. It is as if he's saying all of these things harm brotherhood. Therefore, stay away from them and be brothers. Be brothers one to another. Then he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, highlighting and defining the relationship of the Muslims, al-Muslimu akhul Muslim. The Muslim is the brother of another Muslim. We're not just pals. We're not just cool and okay. We're not just friends. Rather, we are brothers one to another. And now, amongst the Muslims, you'll have those who you are closer to, those who you have a special bond and relationship with. But in general, the Muslim in Nigeria is the brother of the Muslim in Egypt. The Muslim in Egypt is the brother of the Muslim in Indonesia. The Muslim in Indonesia is the brother of the Muslim in America or in Britain, and so on and so forth. The Muslim is the brother of another Muslim. And since this is the case, لَا يَظْلِمُهُ, he does not wrong him in any way. He does not wrong him, neither in his property, nor in his honor, nor in his person. He does not oppress him, taking away his rights. وَلَا يَخْذُلُهُ, he does not abandon him when he is in need of him. Shaykh 𝗘𝗶𝗴𝗲, he mentions an explanation of this point, that if you find that your Muslim brother is being backbitten in your presence and slandered with what you know that he does not have within him, and you do not defend him, you have abandoned him when he needed you. You left him when he needed you. Now, وَلَا يَخْذُلُهُ, he does not leave him hanging and abandon him when he is in need of him. وَلَا يَكْذِبُهُ, he does not. The ulama, they say that this line in the hadith, it bears two meanings. أي لا يكذب عليه, he does not lie to him. ولا يكذبه, nor does he deem him to be a liar when he comes to him. When your brother comes to you with some information, When your brother comes to you seeking to advise you for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, you do not have a bad thought about your brother. You do not deem him to be a liar when he comes to you. وَلَا يَحْقِرُهُ. He does not belittle him or look down upon him. التقوى ها هنا. The taqwa is here. ويشير إلى صدره ثلاث مرات. And he pointed to his chest 3 times. Meaning that, and pay attention to how this phrase or this sentence comes after the sentence لا يحقره. He does not look down upon it and belittle him. He thereafter mentioned التقوى ها هنا, because taqwa is the only thing that makes one individual better than another. إنما أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم. Indeed, the most noble in the sight of Allah is the one that has the most taqwa from amongst you. This is the only thing that makes one individual better than another, but التقوى ها هنا ويشير إلى صدره 3 مرات. And he pointed to his chest 3 times. So that we know and we understand that the only thing that makes one Muslim better than another Muslim is his level of taqwa, and that is something that is here inside of our chests, meaning that none knows it except Allah wa ta'ala. So why would you look down upon another Muslim? Well, you don't know. Perhaps that one that you look down upon is better than you. Perhaps he has more taqwa than you. Now, then he said, بِحَسْبِ امْرِئٍ مِّنَ الشَّرِّ أَن يَحْقِرَ أَخَاهُ مُسْلِمٍ. It is a sufficient amount of evil for an individual that he looks down upon his brother Muslim. Meaning that if you didn't do any other evil, if you didn't steal, you didn't lie, you didn't fornicate, you didn't backbite, you didn't slander, you didn't murder, you didn't rape, you didn't do any other evil, but you had this evil with you, looking down upon another Muslim, hasbuk. That's enough for you. That's enough for you. You don't have to do anything else. Now, we ask Allah for safety and security. كل المسلم على مسلم حرام. All of the Muslim is inviolable for another Muslim. دمه وماله وعرضه. His blood, his property, and his honor. Meaning, just as you would not like to see your blood violated, you won't stand for seeing the blood of your Muslim brother violated. Just as you don't want to see your property violated, you won't stand to see the blood of your Muslim brother or sister violated. And you don't like to see your honor being trampled upon and disregarded and disrespected. Similarly, you don't like to see that of your Muslim brother or sister disregarded and disrespected. This narration, it is a guideline for the relationships between the Muslims and how the relationship of the Muslim should be, that of a firmly fixed brotherhood, that which is predicated and built upon the Book of Allah and the Sunnah of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But if you find it too difficult to be like what is described within this narration, and may Allah Ta'ala guide you, because it is very easy. All you have to do is not do these things that I mentioned here. Don't envy, don't turn your backs, don't cheat each other, don't undercut each other in business transactions, don't oppress, don't lie or be lied like this. Now, if you find it too difficult to do this, then at least take the advice of Yahya ibn Mu'adh al-Razi, alayhi rahmatullah, who said, لِيَكُنْ حَظُّ الْمُسْلِمِ مِنْكَ ثَلَاث. Let the portion or share of the Muslim from you be one of 3 things. Meaning, let your Muslim brother at the very least get one of 3 things from you. He said, if you will not praise him, at least don't criticize him, meaning without due right. If you're not going to speak well about your Muslim brother, at least don't go around bad mouthing him. Now, and if you're not going to benefit him, then at least don't harm him. At least don't bring harm to him. You're not going to do something to benefit him by way of wealth, knowledge, or what have you, dunya or the hereafter. At the very least, don't harm him in the dunya or the hereafter. And if you're not going to make him happy, at least don't make him sad. At least don't make him sad. We ask Allah Ta'ala to solidify our brotherhood and to make us from those who exemplify the brotherhood in the Deen of Islam. Allah Ta'ala knows best. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. آخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.